You're listening to A View from the Hill, the Rugby League Supporters Program.
It wasn't long ago when I had to show that a bloke from the bush could play.
Wonder where they got him. Must be scraping the bottom. You won't last out the day.
And I thought...
You're listening to Radio League Unlimited.
You certainly are. Great to have your company as we enter Saturday afternoon now. Daniel Pettigrew, Nathan Wright, Rob Cora and Steve Williams with you on this Saturday. All right, let's have a look at round 16 or the remaining fixtures after South's win last night of round 16. And it continues tonight, 5:30pm at Leichhardt Oval, where the 15th place West Tigers take on the second place Melbourne Storm. Now, again, on paper, you would think the Melbourne Storm would easily get over the West Tigers, but I think I heard during the week that Cameron Smith is in doubt or has been ruled out for this game. And the Tigers have actually won 3 out of their last 4. I'll make a special mention of Benji Marshall last week. I thought he was excellent in their victory last weekend. The Storm, they went down to the Titans, and of course, they also suffered another injury, a more serious injury than any of the others, with Gareth Widdop out for the rest of the season. So coming into his place is Brett Finch. Nathan, I'd favour the Storm. I'm going to tip the Storm, but it's going to be a close game there at Leichhardt Oval. The Tigers have a pretty good record against the Storm there.
Benji Marshall may have had a good game last week, but I still don't think he's worth $1 million a year that the Tigers want to extend his contract for. No, this game, well, you look at it on paper, and as you said, Melbourne should beat them easily, but Smith is definitely out, Widdop is definitely out, so and the Tigers, I think it's at Leichhardt, this one, so it's a bit of a stomping ground for the Tigers, not so much this year, but I think there is a chance of an upset, but I'm tipping the Storm.
Steve, your thoughts on this one this afternoon or this evening at Leichhardt?
Well, yeah, the Storm don't have a great record at Leichhardt, and it's the ground's going to be a pretty heavy track, I understand. So that normally suits the underdogs. It's a real leveler, and I actually think West Tigers are going to get up and win that one. So West to win in a close one.
Rob, should be a good game.
Yes, it should be, but as you said earlier, a very big loss for Melbourne Storm, mate. To lose Widdop, he's a very, he's probably an underrated player, I think, at the Melbourne Storm, but to lose him for the rest of the season, this is why I think it's premature to start talking about teams winning the premiership, mate. He is a major loss for Melbourne, and if Cameron Smith has gone as well, that does bring it back to the field. West Tigers had a good win last week there against Canberra. So, yes, I think this could be a much closer game than what people expect, but I'm going to stick with the Storm.
All right, the second game tonight at 7:30pm, which will be a very interesting game, one worth keeping an eye on. The 10th place Penrith Panthers take on the 14th place St. George Illawarra Dragons. Nathan, again, the Panthers, I know they're coming off a bye, but they've been in decent form. I think they lost their last game to the Tigers. The Dragons have been very up and down this year. Out there at Penrith, you would probably favour the Panthers to continue their run, but both teams really needing this victory to stay in touch with the 8. I'm tipping the Panthers, but it should be a good game.
Yeah, like you, I'm tipping the Panthers too. I think the Dragons, since Dugan has come, he's added a little bit of an X-factor spark in attack, but still, they're just dreadful, the Dragons. I think if they've reached any heights this year, Trent Merrin, who arguably has been their best player this year, is not there, serving the one-game suspension for punching in Origin, but the Panthers should get this.
Yeah, Steve, your thoughts on this one? I know you're hoping for a Dragons victory.
Well, both teams are coming off a bye, so that's negated there, I believe. Yes, I live in hope. I hope that St. George will get up, and that's why I'm tipping with my heart and not my head. I know Penrith are going to get all the tips, but I'm afraid it's going to be St. George at this end. Back to you, Daniel.
All right, Rob, these two teams only met about a month ago, actually, and it was a good win there for the Penrith Panthers, 19 points to nil. Do you see the same sort of thing happening this evening?
Well, no. Yes, that was... I remember that game quite vividly there. Penrith defeated St. George Illawarra 19-0 at Cogra, and that was of course, it was a bit of a history-making game because it was a long time since St. George, or St. George Illawarra for that fact, had been held to scoreless at the magnificent Cogra Jubilee Oval. I don't think we'll see a similar result. This is actually, look, we are getting to the point in this competition where, you're either going to stay in the race for the finals or you're going to drop out of the race of the finals. We're getting towards that stage, and this is a crucial game for both of these teams. Both of these teams need to win if they want to stay in the race for the final. So I expect to be a very close game. Could go either way. someone like Josh Dugan could change the course of this game. I think it'll be very close. Too hard to predict. There'll be possibly one refereeing decision or one incident which could determine the outcome of this game.
Okay, tomorrow afternoon at 2 p.m. at Hunter Stadium, the 9th place Newcastle Knights take on the 5th place Titans. Nathan, we've been saying it for a few weeks now. The Titans sort of slipping under the radar a bit. They got a good win on Monday night, albeit against a weakened Storm side because of the State of Origin. The Knights, though, they've been excellent for the most part at home. It's a very hard one to tip. I'm leaning towards the Knights because they are at home, and I guess they probably need to win a bit more than the Titans do. But this one, as the other one was, in Rob's opinion, the Panthers-Dragons won. Very hard to pick. Knights by 2.
Well, it depends what Knights team gets off the bus, really. I mean, they're either going to be brilliant or they're going to be bad. They're at home. I expect them to win, but if they're anything below their best, the Gold Coast will get them.
Steve, your thoughts? It should be a good game tomorrow afternoon.
Yeah, I think it's going to be the best game in the round myself. It's always good to look at these games from a neutral point of view, and this is the one that I'd like to watch if I can. The Knights should win simply because the Titans are travelling away from home. But you know, they're a little bit hit and miss the Knights, and the Titans aren't just appearing to hit some form right now. So I'm going to pick a rare away win for the Gold Coast Titans.
Okay, Rob, we see Craig Gowan named on the bench again for this game. How do you see this one going?
Well, look, Newcastle last week there against Melbourne lost down in Melbourne. I thought it was one of their best performances of the year, to tell you the truth, even though they were beaten, a very close game, very unlucky to lose to Melbourne last time out. But yes, again, this shapes up as a very close game. The Knights have been up and down. At home, they've been good. But the Titans they're starting to build some momentum. They're a very good win, of course, against Melbourne last time out. Before that, they pushed South Sydney all the way in that match-up in Cairns. So I see, again, this is shaping as another fairly even game. That Albert Kelly guy has turned into a real try-scorer for the Giant Charging Seagulls. So, again, I think this could be a very even game. One or two incidences could determine the result of this game. I'll go with the Knights because they're at home.
Okay, this game also tomorrow afternoon. It's now, kickoff is 2 p.m, but it's on Channel 9 at 4 p.m. It's the Warriors taking on the Broncos, the 12th place Warriors, the 11th place Broncos. The Warriors, though, looking for 5 in a row. They've been awesome in the past few weeks. I saw them first up, as did Nathan, a few weeks ago out at the football stadium when they beat the Roosters. They were good that night. They're a confident football team. The Broncos, well, they've been fairly up and down all year. At home, it's hard to see anything but a Warriors victory, which will make it 5 in a row and will make them very, very big contenders for a top 8 place come the end of the season.
Well, they're the form team of the competition. There's no doubt about it, the Warriors. As you said, we saw them a few weeks ago. And as I think the start of this 4-game run was actually against the Broncos about a month ago. I know the Broncos didn't have their Origin stars that night, but they were trounced by 50 there. And I don't think the Warriors will beat them that convincingly on tomorrow, but I think the Warriors will win.
Steve, the Warriors, as Nathan said, really the form team in the competition at the moment.
Well, that's right, and they've got that wonderful forward pack. It's going to be an interesting battle in the halves with Sean Johnson and Peter Wallace. But look, I think Sean Thompson's going to get plenty of space there, courtesy of his forwards, and I think the Warriors are going to win well. The Broncos are going out of their climate again. They're going over to cold Auckland, and they don't like that. And I think the Warriors are going to put on about 30 points here.
Rob, do you see the Broncos bringing an upset?
No, I don't. The Warriors have been one of the form teams in this competition. They have been, not only beat Eastern Suburbs, of course, beat Manly before that. They've pushed all the other top teams, pushed Manly, pushed South. I think their position on the table belies their actual strength. So I expect them to go on. But this is a crucial game for Brisbane because, as I said, Brisbane is one of these clubs which is in a position where, we're either going to make the finals or we're going to drop out of this race. So it is a crucial game for both teams. But I expect New Zealand, the informed New Zealand Warriors, to win comfortably.
Okay, now, Sunday Night Football returns tomorrow up there at 1300 Smiles Stadium, where the 13th place Cowboys take on the 6th place Cronulla Sharks. Now, at the start of the season, Nathan, if the Cowboys were playing at home, I'd say they would win. Look, they got back to some kind of form a couple of weeks ago against the Dragons. Thurston's starting to hit some form, but I still favour the Sharks. Todd Carney will want to have a good game, just to keep the selectors' minds open with James Maloney being out injured, at least for this week. I'm favouring the Sharks. The Cowboys, it's almost a must-win game for them now. They're still in that state of origin induction period. If they can get a win with Thurston back, they still could make the 8. Your thoughts on that? But I am tipping the Sharks.
Well, James Tarmow's back as well to add strength to that forward pack up there at the Cowboys. I'm not actually convinced about this game. I think that the Sharks obviously are going better in terms of ladder, but the Cowboys, I'm not sure. They did have that brilliant win over the Dragons, as you mentioned. I think they come off the bye last week. Up there, it's a tough away trip, as all the teams know, and I think the Cowboys just.
Steve, your thoughts on this game?
Well, I understand Sharks have won 5 of their last 6, I believe, and they're going on about the Cowboys, how they ended their losing streak against the Dragons, but that Southport Tigers under 7s team could have given the Dragons a run for money that night. I think Cronulla, even though they're travelling away, I'm tipping them to win in a very close tussle.
Yeah, Rob, your thoughts?
As I've said many times throughout the course of this season, my urine has more substance than the North Queensland Cowboys pack, mate. There's some big names in that pack there, but they've been as weak as piss, mate. They've been as weak as piss all year. They've been a major disappointment. Good to see Clint Greenshields getting a run at fullback, but no, it's very difficult to pick them, even though they're at home. Cronulla to win this one.
Okay, and it wraps up on Monday night, round 16 of the NRL, where the third-place Sydney Roosters take on the fourth-place Manly Seagulls. On paper, the best game of the round. These two teams only played, 4 or 5 weeks ago, and the Roosters got a good win at Brookvale Oval. James Maloney out for the Roosters. Daniel Mortimer will come and play 5'8". I think we all agree that he had a very good game last week. Still no Brett Stewart for Manly, although it wouldn't surprise me if he is a late inclusion into this Manly side. And for the Roosters, Jared Waerea-Hargreaves returns. It's a very hard game to tip. I wouldn't be surprised to see Manly actually get the win on Monday night. The Roosters have been a bit up and down, but so have Manly. A vital clash. I know they're both in the top 4, but I think a vital clash for both teams. I'm tipping the Roosters, but I wouldn't be surprised to see a Manly victory.
Well, it's a bigger team for the Roosters. We very, very rarely beat Manly. Earlier this year, we did get them just in a very physical game. As you said, Brett Stewart he has returned to training this week, I understand, with the Manly Seagulls, so surprise return would not surprise me there. As you said, Jared's back, who's probably the leading person in the Roosters forward pack. You know, they've missed him over the last 5 weeks, there's no doubt about that. I think the Roosters, coming in off last week, a brilliant win with half a team, I think they will go off the back off that, but it's going to be tough.
Steve, it was a very good win for the Roosters last weekend, but I think it's fair to say both teams, even though in the top 4, they definitely have been a bit up and down recently.
Well, it's going to come down to the fatigue factor for the Roosters halves. I feel how they shape up this weekend. But looking at the ladder there, the Roosters win, lose or draw. Their position on the ladder in the top 3 is pretty assured, I believe. While the Sea Eagles they have to win to fight off a couple of challenges from 5th position. So I think the Sea Eagles have got something to play for here, and I think they're going to get the Roosters, and I'm tipping the Sea Eagles win.
And also, Rob, your thoughts on this one? Of course, Maloney out, so Daniel Mortimer and Mitchell Pearce will want to have a good game after his performance in State of Origin. How do you see this one going?
Now, Eastern Suburbs don't lose anything with Daniel Mortimer coming in at 5'8" there. I'm wondering why he doesn't actually play more first grade in terms of starting the game. I'm talking about. Yes, a tough hit out last game. I remember that last game was a very physical game, also played in the wet. Very likely that this game as well is going to be played in wet conditions. So kicking could be an important part of this game, where you have Kieran Foran and Cherry Evans up against Pearce and Mortimer. Kicking could be a vital part in this game. Could go either way. I agree with what Steve said there, and also I agree with what Nathan said, that Manly have had the wood over Eastern Suburbs. When you look at the win-loss record there, head-to-head record, Manly have had 79 victories to East only 40, so that's 2-1. I mean, you would think over, Manly came into the competition, of course, in, 1947, so over 50 years, things tend to even out, but that's a clear and distinct majority for Manly. I think they can win on Monday night at the stadium. Okay,
just before we go, don't forget that at any time you can get in contact with us. That email address is radio@leagueunlimited.com. Radio@leagueunlimited.com if you want to get in touch with us at any time during the week.
That's about all you have time for today, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you've enjoyed the show. In the meantime, you've been listening to A View from the Hill, the Rugby League Supporters Program, coming to you live on the internet via the League Unlimited website. My name's Rob Corra. On behalf of Steve Williams, Daniel Pettigrew.
Thanks, Rob. We'll see you next week.
Nathan Wright.
Thanks, guys. Go the Roosters.
Now we're going to go out with a tribute there to Nelson Mandela, the man that the former neocon Prime Minister John Howard described as a traitor. Well, perhaps he's on his last freedom walk. Until next week at the same time, may the Force be with you.
To the people of South Africa and the world who are watching, this is indeed a joyous night for the human spirit. This is your victory too. Your health and apartheid.
Well, I've just written this song more or less for this program, and you see us rehearsing it. Only a rehearsal. It's an in tune, okay.
But it is you, the people, who are our true heroes. This is one of the most important moments in the life of our country. I regard it as the highest honor to lead the ANC at this moment in our history, and that we have been chosen to lead our country into the new century. I pledge to use all my strength and ability to live up to expectations of me as well as the ANC.